Welcome to our executive leadership and transformational leadership. And I would like to introduce our esteemed speaker for the session today. Her name is Odunayo Aliu from Bumble Network. And a little bit about our speaker. Odunayo Aliu is a distinguished education specialist and social entrepreneur renowned for her unwavering commitment to transforming educational landscapes in underserved communities. She is the founder and the director of Bramble Network, an organization dedicated to creating alternative learning spaces that provide quality education to children from low-income backgrounds in rural areas. Under her leadership, Bramble Network has developed initiatives such as the Bramble Learning Space, which fosters children's passion for learning through play and creative resources, and the Bramble Reading Room, promoting communal reading experiences among children of diverse socioeconomic backgrounds. These programs are designed to support various learning styles and encourage exploration in artistic expressions, scientific thinking, and more. Her dedication to education extends to her role as the president of the Love Letters Child Support Initiative, a community-based organization that mobilizes educational aid for children in rural communities. Her exceptional contributions have been recognized with several accolades, including the 2023 One Africa Impact Award for her revolutionary education project. She's also a Carrington Fellow and a 2023 Mandela Washington Fellow, reflecting her leadership and impact in the field of education. Academically, she holds a bachelor degree in biology education from Obafemi Awolowo University and has studied leadership and social work at the Kantari Institute of Social Change. She has further enhanced her expertise through internships and fellowships, including her role as the Minister of Education and Advocacy at the Green Institute, where she contributed to environmental education and advocacy initiatives. Through her visionary leadership and innovative approaches, she continues to inspire and effect positive change in the educational sector, particularly for children in the marginalized communities. So I'm gonna play a small video.
My heart is so filled with joy. My heart is so filled with joy. Joy that fills my body and soul. So much joy that never goes low, low, low. Comes from my Father above. See this joy not be by wealth, neither from all those luxury things.
As we go through the session, I encourage you all to reflect, ask questions, and also share your perspectives. And please be aware that the session is being recorded. So without further ado, I would like to invite our speaker for the day. Welcome, Aliu.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the introduction and that short clip. It's an honor to be here. I would like to start by saying that I want to really thank Dr. Adenike Akinshemolu for this opportunity to speak to you all. And to also mention that, you know, some years back, I literally started my career journey with the Green Institute. And I can say that, you know, it gave me a very solid foundation. And this is like a full circle moment for me. So without further ado, my name is Odunayo, and I am an educationist and social impact professional. So today we are talking about a very interesting topic, a topic that I think is super important for us all. And it's also something that I'm a bit passionate about. So it's transformational leadership. How can we inspire action for social good? So I believe the fact that we are Green Fellows, the fact that you are part of Green Institute means that you have, your heart is in the right place, means that you are already thinking about social impact, which could be in the area of climate change or in different social causes, as we will see when we go on. So I would like to start us by this little exercise. So look at your screen. You're going to see two different words. I want you to unscramble it in the chat box. And the first person, I'm going to keep an eye in the chat box. I want you to unscramble this word. So there's a small hint for you. Which of the letter or alphabet is in green means that it's in the right place. So just unscramble it quickly and put it in the chat box. Let's see who is going to quickly get it. Very quick. Interesting. So adventure and legacy. Yes, adventure and legacy. That's it. So I chose this two particular word because it has something to do with what we're talking about today. So the journey of transformational leadership is a journey of adventure, and it's also about legacy. You know, when we think about social good, inspiring action for social good, we are talking about legacy. We are talking about doing something that would outlive us. So we'll just quickly go into what's the meaning of transformational leadership? So over time, I know that if you ask people what leadership means, a lot of people say different things that, oh, leadership is, you know, when you put someone in a position of authority. Yeah, that could be leadership. That's a kind of leadership, but leadership is beyond position. It's beyond the position that you occupy, or even the tactical things that you do in your various position or in your various endeavor in your life. Leadership is beyond that. So there's something called transformational leadership. There are different kind of leadership, but the one we're talking about today is transformational leadership. And so how does it differ from every kind of leadership or from other things that people call leadership? So transformational leadership is simply the act of inspiring and motivating followers or people to achieve extraordinary things. So when you are someone that you are concerned about helping other people to achieve something great, when you are about inspiring people to follow a particular cause, a good cause. So we are in that way, we are talking about transformational leadership. So you are someone that is already, you are not essentially so particular about the title of the position that you occupy. Interestingly, you may not even be given a particular position. You might just be a young person going about your life, just passionate about a particular cause, and you just want to see a change in that particular sector or to that particular problem that you are passionate about. And you begin to just talk to other people and say, oh guys, what can we do? Let's do this, let's do that. And you know, you start mobilizing other people to go in a particular direction so that you can solve a problem. So those are characteristics of people that are demonstrating transformational leadership. So on the slide, you can see the people that we call transformational leaders are people that are self-aware. And that's number one thing that you need to keep in mind. People that are self-aware, and what do we mean by being self-aware? That means that you know your strength, you know your weakness. You know, so many times during if you have been part of an interview panel, you are recruiting for a particular role, or you have been the one sitting on the interview panel. Peradventure, they've asked you before, oh, what's your strength? What's your weakness? You know, funny, as basic as that sounds, you would expect that, oh, at least everybody should know what their strength and weakness is. You'll be surprised that a lot of people have not actively sat down to reflect on their particular strength and their particular weakness. You see some people are more aware of their weaknesses than even their strengths, but we all have those strengths and the weakness. So a transformational leader is someone that is self-aware. So at every point in their growth, in their professional journey, or even their growth as a human, they are fully aware of their strengths and their weakness. You know, they are people that they consistently reflect and set goals. You know, a lot of young people right now are very passionate. You know, they are setting goals and all of that, but not a lot of people sit down to reflect. So I believe that many of us are familiar with what we call SWOT analysis. So people do that for companies, for programs, for projects. But this is also a tool that you can apply to your life as a young leader. So just sit down and say, okay, I want to do a SWOT analysis on my life. You know, so what's my strength? What's my weakness? What are the opportunities that I currently have, and what are the threats? So, so that's one thing I would like to highlight as we look at what transformational leadership is, or who a transformational leader is. So the second thing is that transformational leaders are people that are proactive. And this is something that I'm super passionate about. You know, there are a lot of young people right now that are also laid back, waiting for people to deliver opportunity to on their laps. You know, that's not going to happen. You know, you might stumble on certain opportunities, but if you don't take action, if you're not proactive about your life, about situations around you, you are limiting your chances of succeeding in whatever endeavor that's whatever thing you want to do in life. So transformational leaders are people that they don't just sit around to wait for change, you know. So I'm speaking from Nigeria, and very common in Nigeria. We have a lot of the population always complaining about government. By the way, I don't think this is particular to Nigeria. I think in many African countries, I've been to a lot of, you know, different African countries, and somehow we have similar stories, you know, and, you know, we complain about our leaders. We complain about, oh, this is not working, that's not working. And many times people just sit under that, you know, they get overwhelmed by the scale of the problem in their environment, and they don't do anything. So to set ourselves aside as, you know, transformational leaders, you need to be proactive. You need to be people. You need to be a person that is making decisions, making bold choices, and you will then begin to set the tone for other people to follow. When you begin to take some action, you then set the tone for other people to follow. There's a TED talk by, I think, Seth Godin, that's talked about finding your tribe, or leading your tribe. I think the first place I actually saw that TED talk was with Dr. Adenike, and that video is just so powerful that it just says that whatever change you want to see, whatever social good, social change, or whatever kind of life you want to lead, be rest assured that you're not the first person, or you're not the only person that have such desires. There's so many other people that have similar passion in them, just lying dormant. They are not doing anything about it. So you would see that by the time you take action and you start talking about this thing, no matter how unpopular you think it is, you then begin to see other people saying, oh, I also think the same way. Oh, I think I'm interested in this idea. So as a transformational leader, you need to be very proactive about the things that you see around you, and proactive about the way you live your own life as well. So the last thing I would like to point out in the characteristics of a transformational leader is that these are people that lead with humility. So when I say humility, I'm not essentially saying that you are people that like to stay small. No. So humility is just it just refer to leaders that you're confidently pursuing your goal, but you are also very quick to admit that you don't know everything, you don't have all the answers. So you keep that knowledge of the fact that you don't know everything will keep your ego in check, and it will also help you to prioritize seeking help and support from other people. It will help you to listen, to be an active listener, to be someone that's always pursuing knowledge in different ways. If you are following me, write in the chat box what you have been gleaning and that you're following me, so that I'm sure that we're on the same page. So very quickly, this is the 4 pillars of transformational leadership. And these 4 things you see on the screen is a very academic thing about transformational leadership. So it's essentially talk about how you motivate people on an individual basis, and also how you create influence, also intellectual stimulation, how you motivate other people to go towards that direction that you want them to go, how you motivate other people to go towards that direction. I think I want to move a bit faster. So why do we need transformational leadership? I want to assume maybe some people are wondering, okay, this is a very interesting thing, but why? Why do we need it? So in 3 different ways. You need it for yourself, because this is essentially, it starts with the mindset, right? It helps you, it encourages you to grow and develop. Look at the things I said about being proactive, about being proactive. What was the other thing I said? About being self-aware. So transformational leadership, when you begin to inspire other people towards action, you would also continue to grow. You would essentially always see a reason for you to learn different things, for you to get better at different points in life. Then for other people, you would also invest in other people. You would invest in people around you. People begin to see you as a person of value, because you are always giving and not just waiting to get from others. You would also begin to contribute meaningfully to your community and your workplaces, wherever you find yourself, essentially, even in your families. So when you begin to take on this mindset of a transformational leader, you begin to do much more. You grow in leaps and bounds. You begin to, you just see yourself that you are more capable of doing stuff. And globally, when we have a lot of people who have this mindset, so we see that a lot of societal issues will be addressed. And that's the other part of this topic today. Inspiring action for social good. So people that go through the path of social impact, people that go through the path of getting themselves concerned about social good, they are not just ordinary people. If you are someone that is just me, myself, and I, if your life is just about thinking about yourself alone, you would not care about what's happening in your community. You will not care about social good. And this is not a good characteristics at all. So I want us to look at the screen now. There are 2 quotes on the screen, and I'm going to, one person should read one, like 2 people should read one each of these quotes. And I want you to write in the chat box which one you think speaks to you more. Which of these 2 quotes speaks to you especially in, this, your mindset around this topic. Which of these two quotes speaks to you more? So it's either you signify to read or I pick someone randomly. Feel free to just jump in. Emmanuel, I see your hand. Please read. Emmanuel, you can unmute and read any of the quotes.
A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. That's the one that stood out for me.
Nice. So why is that the one that speaks to you more? Emmanuel, you still have the floor.
Why is because I believe that, just like what you said, that leadership is by inspiration. So it's not all about pointing out that others should do it. So what about you? There's something that I always say. Whenever I'm thinking like somebody should do it, I should also remember that I am somebody. So I felt like a leader is someone who knows the way. You have to go the way. You have to lead by example. It's not just like do the talk, not just like talking about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's such a powerful contribution to this topic. So we want somebody else to read the second quote and tell us why it speaks to you. I think I see whose hand is this? Okay, nobody. So please just signify by raising your hand and read the second quote. I would also like us to just, yes, Ibrahim Aliu, you can read for us. You could also just comment in the chat box what you think about any of this quote. Ibrahim, you can read.
All right, thank you so much. So the second quote says, leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something you want done because he wants to do it.
What do you think about that?
Okay, for me, I would say what I think about this is what comes to mind is actually trust. It means that you are willing to trust maybe your subordinate or someone who follows you to do a task, right? By doing this, you are instilling in this person an art of leadership, whereby it makes informed decision even when you are not there. So that's what speaks to me, actually.
Exactly. Thank you so much. That's a very powerful interpretation of this quote. So essentially, depending on how we interpret our place in this world, some people are okay with sitting in a corner and just waiting for things to happen, while some other people cannot. And I want to believe everybody in this room listening to me today, I would like you to cross over to the category of people that will not just wait and let things happen to them. So leadership is the act of getting someone else to do what you want done because they also want to do it. So you're not forcing people to do something, you are just finding your tribe. Because believe it, no matter what you are passionate about, no matter the problem you want to solve, there are also hundreds of other people that are passionate about the same thing. It's just for you to find them and empower them. So when you begin to take the position of a transformational leader, you then begin to empower other people to do that same thing. You know, it becomes a shared vision and you empower them to do that same thing that you want done. And, you know, and a very practical example is, the issue of climate change, environmental issues. Green Institute is very one of the biggest, organizations addressing that. So climate change issue through education and research. So this might have started as the idea, it was bettered by Dr. Denike. She was seriously concerned about people not knowing knowing enough about climate change, environmental issues. So, but right now, there's a lot of other people that she has empowered to still do the same thing. So, because as one person, we're just one human. There's a limit to what you can do by the virtue of, your your location. You can only be one person. We don't have such technology to replicate ourselves physically, to clone ourselves physically yet. So, and there's also a limit to resources, to your strength, and so many limitations. But when you begin to empower other people to do the same thing, today we have officially green activities and all of that happening in different parts of the world. So that's leadership. So let's move on to the other part of our discussion, which is how leaders inspire change that matters. So we said transformational leadership is about inspiring change, inspiring others to create change. So so how can we do that? So I'm going to leave you with 6 things that you can do to lead change and create, to create social change in whatever sector that you are passionate about. And number one thing is vision. Vision is, what. That's what do you care about? What problem are you willing to address? What problem are you willing to address? We are all in here as Green Fellows. So I might, it might be safe for me to assume that we are all passionate about environmental issue, about sustainability, about climate change, but over time as well, you could then grow to, maybe niche down into something, you could niche down. It might not be like, climate change. It could then be climate education or, or food, addressing food insecurity and all of that. So, but there must be something that you're passionate about. There must be a vision in your heart. As a transformational leader, you are leading with your heart and your heart, your hand, your head. We would see the head part later on and the hand part, but here it's finding the core of the problem you want to solve. And I listed this question that I believe would help us to, to distill down to something that you could call your vision. So ask yourself this question: that what will the end look like? What will success look like? What are your core values? What problem are you willing to address? How would the world look if you eliminated that problem? What legacy do you want to leave behind? So when you think about all of these things, to give you a broader perspective of your vision. I really like this quote so much, which is, whatever will matter to you at the end, let it matter to you now. I cannot remember exactly where I saw it, but it's something that I really love. It's whatever will matter to you at the end, let it matter to you now. And this is really about long-term thinking. Many people say that, some people have even found what they are passionate about, what problem they want to address, but they keep pushing it to the future, thinking, I'm not ready. But if you think that, why not let it matter to you now? I need to take action. Thing is, whose part am I is about what? That's the vision. And this second one is about the people you have been called to, that you can think in social impact, your problem that you want to address. So strongly feel a sense of empathy towards. For me, it's children and youth that live in, rural and marginalized community. I can't stand, seeing people deprived of opportunity just because they are poor, or just because their parents are not able to afford certain things, or just because of the kind of community they are born into. I'm like, oh, they did not choose their parents, they did not choose their community. So why should they, bear the grunt and why should that be a permanent limitation on their life, because of things that they didn't choose? So that's the kind of people I strongly feel towards, and young people as well, who are just living life and not finding a sense of purpose, and not, they are not motivated to become better. So you need to be able to answer that for yourself as well. Again, remember that transformational leadership is about inspiring people towards change. So find that group of people, the demography, the community, so see these questions. Who do you see yourself mentoring, guiding, or whose story or experience have shaped your desire to help others? So the third thing that you need to ask yourself, so this is about the tools. So the tools that you need, what tools do you need? What tools do you need? So one of my friends, would always say that, passion is good, passion is key, but capacity is super important. Capacity is king. We all start from the place of passion, but once you have figured out the vision, the people you want to work with, then now you need to think about the tools that you need. You need to think about the tools that you need. So this is capacity, right? And remember that I talked about doing your own SWOT analysis. So if you have done your own SWOT analysis, you would also have seen your weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. When you see your weaknesses, you're not supposed to just know about it and keep it somewhere and just wish it away. No. So you are doing that. You are doing that analysis so that you can do something about it. So, so what tools do you need to be able to achieve the kind of vision that your heart has called out to? So answer this question that what are the key competencies that you require? What tools and technologies are currently being used by leaders in your field? What gap exists between your current skill and the skills that you need for your vision? So how can you leverage existing strengths to build a robust system? So that's super important. Don't be blinded by, you might also be a young person that you are attending a lot of conferences, you are doing so many things, you are in this, you're attending this program and that program, but sometimes those things might, depending on the phase that you are, those things can also be a distraction. It can be a distraction. So you need to sit down and what skills do I have? What skills do I have? If I'm changing my location for any reason, for people in Nigeria, if you're relocating, or you're in Asia, you're also relocating, the skills that you have here, is it relevant on the global stage? So, so you need to upgrade. And as a transformational leader, this is something you must consistently be doing. You must never be, at a time where you're not developing yourself. It could be, it's a personal skill, it could be technical skill. Just make sure that at every point you are learning something. So the next thing is, whose help do I need? So this talks about community. It talks about community. What sort of community should you plug yourself into? The Green Institute Fellowship is a community, and by the virtue of the way people are selected, it means that you have people of value, you have people that there's a level of similarities between everybody in here. So what other kind of communities do you need to plug yourself into? Who are the people that shares your vision? The expertise, track record, people that you can pull to do similar projects and all of that, people that can challenge you, people that can give you constructive feedback, so find that community, identify it and find it. There's, I tell people that there's absolutely nothing impossible. There's absolutely nothing impossible. Your limitation is the one that you have placed on yourself. Whatever is stopping you is the one is perceived, is what you have placed on yourself. It might take a little bit longer than it will take, say, somebody from another kind of background or somebody with a huge, robust, support system. But you can also get there if you are able to. And because right now, technology has really helped us. We are in a, we say global village. There's a lot of people that are willing to offer support and help that you can reach out to on LinkedIn, on, different social media platform. It's easier now to get people's email, and you can just shoot them a cold email and say, oh, I see that you're passionate about this. I want to do this project. Can I have 20 minutes of your time to discuss my ideas? So be very aware of the kind of help that you need and go for it. So the fifth thing is to also find out which phase are you in. Which phase are you in? Doing social good, creating change in our community, in this world, leaving a mark, building a legacy is a long-term thing. It's something that, it's a long rope that it's something that you need to keep doing. But at this particular time, right now that we are talking, that I'm talking, you're listening to me, you need to know which phase are you in, so what milestones have you achieved so far? So far, what have you achieved? Oh, you want to do masters, you want to do PhD, you want to do this and that. Where are you currently? What challenges are you currently facing? What resources and support do you need? So you need to then, if you take all of that information, it can then help you to form your short-term and long-term goals. One beautiful thing that we do, this is December. Oh no, it's November, but it's like we're at the end of the year again. So very often we do this New Year goals. We say New Year, new resolution. We create goals for ourselves, for each year. So you're going to see that it will be important that you do all of these activities, that we have mentioned, so that it can help you to form your vision board for next year. You can sit down right now. Don't wait till the end of the, last week in December. Currently, my vision board or my stuffs for next year are almost, if not completed, So, so sit down and, just analyze the phase that you are. So lastly, you need to document your standard and improve them over time. Document your standard and improve them over time. And this cuts across all areas of life, or whatever business you are doing as well. As a transformational leader, as someone who is passionate about doing good, inspiring others to do good as well. One thing that you need to also carry in your, your part of your, how do I say, part of your toolbox are certain values, certain value as a leader. You must be someone that is given to excellence. You must be someone that is focused, and you must be somebody that is consistent. I mentioned these three particular skills, these three particular value, because it's something that I have known over time with Green Institute: focus, excellence, and consistency. So as you are growing, as you are building certain things, you are experimenting, you need to document your standards. Oh, it took me, these are the steps that I took to be able to connect with this high value person. These are the things that I did to be able to achieve this particular goal. So you don't need to always reinvent the wheel. As you go through things, you create process document and you just improve them over time. So have, have standards for every aspect of your life as well, and document your journey. Document your journey, share your story, build out loud. So I would like to end with I would like to just share this quote, says that if you want to work, you work with common sense, you fly with principles, and you run with principles, and you fly by instruction. So you can't live life anyhow. You can't live life anyhow. You can't, if you're a transformational leader, you just know that, there's you are not allowed to just be careless about your life. You're not allowed to be careless about your vision, because it has to do with people. It has to do with, either people and planet. So I'm going to leave you with this question. I'm going to leave you with this question: that what's your life project? What's your life project? It sounds like a serious word, but what I mean is that what is the social good that you want to commit to? What is the social good you want to commit to? What is the legacy you want to leave behind? So if you see the screen, there are two examples, or two, not just examples, these are like facts. So the world population is expected to increase by 2 billion in the next 30 years. So are you thinking about how we can change our agriculture system to sustain the population without compromising the health of our environment? That could be something that your own vision revolves around. That could be the kind of social change that you're concerned about. And it could be the second one, that by 2050, Africa's population is projected to double, with a significant portion being young people. So this demographic, there will be increased demand for jobs, and you're already aware, about the level of unemployment that we have in many African countries. So that could be the question, the challenge that you want to tackle. There's so many other things. We live in a continent with a lot of wicked problems. It's just for you to, sit down, answer all of these questions that I've shared, apply all of those tools, and you will be able to come to a conclusion on what particular thing you want to pursue, and begin to inspire other people towards that direction. And there's a lot of support out here for you. There's a whole lot of support out here for you. And I believe that Green Institute is one of those huge supports that you have. So I'm going to end here and take questions. If you have any question for me, or any comments that you may want to share.
Hello. So sorry I didn't raise up my hand. My name is Awino Kawino from the Green Institute, Kenya. And I'm so happy. As you were just sharing your story and this session, I was very excited. And I was like, you're such a humbled person, and yet you have all this transformation inside you that you can impact to ours. And being a woman makes it even more beautiful. And I just want to say that this was such a very nice, inspiring talk. And kudos. I think Green Institute really molded you to the person that can transform other people. So particularly, I wanted to ask how you navigated stereotypes, issues that, there are these issues that, however much we try to change in our social and cultural fabrics, is quite difficult. And I think these are issues that especially the female gender goes through. So I just wanted you to share how, as a transformational leader, you could navigate these issues that become barriers to women, especially if they want to rise as transformational leaders. And also the second question I would ask is, as a transformational leader, how can how can I make especially the male gender allies, especially if I'm a woman, how do I step into leadership while making men allies to my leadership journey, especially in patriarchal societies and patriarchal social setups. So thank you so much again. This was such a nice talk. Back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dina. That's that's I would say an important question. So how do I, as a woman, how do I tackle stereotypes, and how do I also build male allies? So there's something I like to say that sometimes, I mean, it is what it is. We live in a community where the female gender is not. It might not be. I don't want to generalize, but it's a common thing that female are not in some culture. They are not as respected. They are quite. The expectation is low. They set the bar low when it comes to women. That, I mean, if you have a certain level of degree, that's fine. You are good enough, but if it comes to male, there's a lot of standard they need to provide and all of that. So challenging all of those stereotypes, I like to say that be good enough that people cannot ignore you. That's one thing that, I hold dear. Be good enough that people cannot ignore you. At first they would ignore you and ignore you and ignore you. But after a while, when you're so competent in your sector, they will not be able to ignore you any longer. So that's one important thing that you should do as a woman. As a woman, so when we come to the table to bargain, it's not going to be, because I'm a woman, you should give me this opportunity. It's not going to be about a quota system or something. It's going to be that based on my competence, based on what I have known, based on my track record over time, I demand this. This rightfully belongs to me. So focus on building your capacity. That's number one thing. Then be bold. Our culture has, very often raised women to be submissive, to be nice, to be nice. By the way, there's a book that says that the nice girls don't get the corner office, So as a woman, I like to say that, don't be concerned about being nice. Be concerned about building your skills, be articulate, be bold, be confident. The worst they can say is no, but at least you have asked, and if you work in a system that is so difficult, or you're in an organization that, they're just stiffening and stiffening and stiffening you, they're not allowing you to take the space that belongs to you, then you can go build an alternative. You can step out of that place and find a community that will allow you to be who you are. Or you just go build a parallel, alternative that after a while, that could also grow up to compete, with such system as well. So building male allies, there are a lot of men that are exposed, that are educated, that are open-minded, that are not threatened by powerful women. So I would say that find such people and work with them. Samuel, you can ask your question. Samuel, I see that your hand is up.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. I just want to contribute to the question the lady asked.
We can hear you.
Okay, I just want to contribute to the question, the second part, which she talked about. Before I continue, my name is Samuel Tubu. I'm also a Green Fellow from Plateau State. Yes, so I just want to contribute to the question, to the answer you gave, especially about building male allies. Yes, I think once you know what you want to do and you set your goal and ambition straight, like you put it in a way that everybody can see what you are trying to do, by the virtue of doing that, you will attract people that have the same vision as you. For example, I have been longing for an opportunity to enforce environmental sustainability. Not until I was scrolling through my internet one day, I saw Green Institute. Then I don't know that there's any opportunity like this, but in my mind, I was like, how can I connect with these people? They are doing what interests me. And all of a sudden, I saw an application from the Green Institute that there is an opportunity for Green Fellows. And, that came, and then I was attracted to it, and I applied, and I got in, because what Green Institute was doing and are doing is clearly stated. And I know this is what they do, and this is what I love as well, and it aligns with what I do. And then I just connect with them. And then secondly, I learned this from Fred Swanika of ALX Africa, that if you want people to, chase your dream, or, become allies with you and chase what you intend to chase, then you need to place responsibility in their hand. And I will still use Green Institute as an example. You being a Green Fellow, or Green Institute on their own can decide that, okay, we are going to go to different states and then enforce environmental sustainability. But instead, they created a platform for Green Fellows, and each of us, we are enforcing this environmental sustainability in our various places. Now, you could see how she placed responsibility in our hands. So that happens in most organizations. If you are a founder of an organization, give leadership to other people too, like maybe a co-founder, a country representative. You will see them bringing out their true self, their true how will I put it? Their true responsibility, their true idea, their true originality to chase that dream with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Samuel, for that contribution. That's very accurate. Okay, I don't think we have any other question. Okay, so Mohammed, Stacy, maybe I would pass the mic to you, and so that you can coordinate the questions.
I have a few questions myself. First of all, thank you for the inspiring talk. It's clear from your words that leadership is not just about guiding others, but also empowering them and creating meaningful and lasting relationships. I want to. My first question is, what advice will you give emerging leaders who want to inspire action but lack resources or influence?
I like that question because a lot of people think that building change, doing something great in our environment, in our community, requires a lot of resources. That might be partially true. You need resources to be able to do certain things. But regardless of whatever you have, you can start where you are. And one thing, so there's something called community-based development, ABC. So assets-based community development, ABCD. And what that's really, there's a framework, you can find it online. I might also be able to share a few resources that can be given to all the fellows. It simply talked about how we can leverage whichever resources is available in the community to create change. So there's nothing like there's no community that doesn't have anything. The problem is that many times we think about resources in terms of finances, in terms of money, But there are people in communities, there are sometimes community even have, say, community centers, buildings and all of that. So the ability to map the resources in a community and leverage that to start to create a change is a key thing that we need to have as young leaders, because of the various, barrier to access to funding and all of that we have. And I can share my story as an example. So when in 2018, no, 2016, we started, providing scholarship to children and all of that. So between 2016 and 2018, we wanted to change our model because, these children were going to school, but they were not learning so much. You know how it is in many of our African countries, our school systems has a lot of issues. Children are going to school, they're just memorizing, they can't write, they can't read properly and all of that. So because my background is in education, so I wanted to do something different. So 2019 came and I knew that we wanted to start alternative learning centers. So we did a pilot in a slum community, and after the pilot, we wanted to have like a permanent center in a village. So we started mapping. At this time, we didn't have a lot of money. I was just like a very crazy woman that just wanted to see, nothing's going to stop me and all of that. So when we finally found this community where we wanted to work, it's a very deep, remote community. They had no water, they were drinking from the well. No, what is it called? No means of transportation. You need to like charter a vehicle to bring you in. Internet was poor and all of that. So, and I was broke. I didn't have a lot of money. So what I did was, I met the community leaders, I met the gatekeepers in the communities, and they gave us, a church, which was the only church in that community. So that was our classroom, for the entire period of when we started. And they have like big trees in that community. They have like big, we call it agbalumo. That's the African star apple. So those trees were our outdoor learning centers, while the church was our indoor learning centers, and after a while, we felt like, okay, we're doing that. And we were not grumpy. We're doing it. We were enjoying the phase that we were in. We're sharing our stories online. And after a while, we felt that, okay, maybe to build, what are the low-cost options that are available to us? And that's how I stumbled on, how using plastic bottles, waste bottles to build. Then, one opportunity led to the other. I was able to go to, there's a place in Uganda called Sena Academy, where they've done a lot of building with plastic bottles, so we started doing campaigns to clear waste plastic bottles from the environment. So we got 100,000 plastic bottles and we started to build with that. Bottles were free. Laterals signed to fill the bottle were also free. The labor were the people in the community, So that simple thing, a lot of people see it as an innovation, and funding came for us to, start doing things. So I would advise that, map assets in the community and use whatever is available to you right now to achieve your result. Stacey, did you hear me?
Yes, I heard you. Sorry. So I have the second question is, how has the concept of transformational leadership evolved in response to contemporary challenges like climate change or inequality?
Can you repeat that?
How has the concept of transformational leadership evolved in response to contemporary challenges like climate change or inequality?
Okay. I would say that there's even a lot of, the kind of problems that we're facing right now in Africa and even globally, it's even demanding it's demanding transformational leaders more and more. So there's a huge trend to, how can we, so recently there's a lot of literature around the concept of collective leadership, which is also like a step forward from transformational leaders. So as a transformational leader, they're now leading with other transformational leaders. So so in the development space, the trend is that the kind of problems that we have in Africa, the kind of development problem we have demands people that are transformational leaders. It demands people that are transformational leaders because you cannot, there's something called adaptive leadership versus tactical. You cannot just be addressing problem as a tactical leader. You are just concerned about solving particular doing particular task. No. So you need to lead other people because the problem is massive, and as one person there's a limit to what you can do. So you begin to mobilize other people. Look at the example that Samuel gave us, using Green Institute.
Yes, I'm trying to contribute to the climate change question and transformative leadership. Climate change is one of my favorite aspects, and I like to contribute in this aspect as well. Yes, we all know what is climate change, and it's something that is affecting countries all over the world. But then Africa bears the most of the impact simply because all this emission that is being generated by the developed countries, we are the ones suffering. In fact, that's the essence, or that's the center of discussion in COP29 Baku this year. Now, being a transformative leader in the area of climate change, yes, you know what climate change is, and the effect of this climate change is climate crisis. Droughts, wildfires, flood, etc. So how can you be a transformative leader in this aspect? Yes, being a transformative leader in this aspect means you are going to be inspiring climate adaptation and climate mitigation strategies. Yes, by climate mitigation, I'm talking about you, just like what Green Institute is doing. I don't know why, Green Institute aligns with whatever I'm doing. That's why around the climate space, that's why I'm always using them as example. What we are doing in Green Institute is climate mitigation. We are encouraging others to live a sustainable life that will not allow them to emit emissions that contributes to climate change in the broader aspect. That is climate mitigation. Doing all efforts, all practices that would reduce carbon emission and make us to reach that goal of 1.5 degree. You understand? That is mitigation. Then climate adaptation. Yes, this climate change causes several issues in our communities. Now, you as a transformative leader is to lead your community, whichever way your community is facing this climate change. Perhaps it could be you creating a non-profit organization that is focused on providing climate adaptation. So for example, now in a community that they are suffering drought as a result of climate change, they are suffering lack of rainfall. It is your duty as a transformative leader maybe to inspire climate adaptation solutions, like maybe regenerative agricultural practices. For example, like drought resistant crop, that can grow without much water, because maybe this community are facing lack of water. And then maybe water management, that maybe during when water is available a little bit, maybe when rain is falling, maybe you guys have a way of saving water to be able to grow plants when drought comes again. Those are climate adaptation strategies, and it demands transformative leaders to inspire such actions. So that is my contribution. That is the way you can be a transformative leader in the climate change aspect. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Samuel. We can take one more question from Danjuma. before we end the session?
My name is Njuma Samuel, actually. I'm from Adamawa, Nigeria. And mine is not a question, actually. It's just a contribution. The lady a lady asked a question before the host tried to answer her. And I want to say a little about the question she asked. Actually, I want to share more light on that, with your permission, actually. Let me go on. Actually, she used the word contemporary. In the contemporary, she used the word contemporary issues. In during the presentation, the host initially gave two quotes, and which, to me, the first one defines what is transformative leadership, and actually, it's all about delegating, or not necessarily like coercing somebody to do something for you, and which is transformational leadership, actually, for me. And at the moment, we as a nation, yes, we're faced with diverse problems, environmental challenges all over. They are all over us. Like me now, where I base, you have people going to their surrounding areas, cut trees down, and they will use it for firewood and whatever. And this cause harm to the environment. And as a result, if you do not have people around that will stand and try to address this issue and said, if you cut a tree, at least plant 2, 3 before cutting one in a year. These are contemporary issues that we're faced with, if you ask me. Because addressing these issues now, if you can have somebody, if the Green Institute is doing that, actually, by empowering young people and educating them on how to combat this climate change, it's a good thing. Actually, it's what is transformational leadership, and it's what I think address the contemporary issues. They're all around us. You have people littering everywhere with canned drinks and what have you, paper and all this and all that. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Danjuma. I'd like to ask Ms. Aliu to come in and say anything before we end the session.
Yes. So I loved listening to all the contributions from Danjuma and Samuel, and the important questions that was also raised by Stacy and my other lady. So I would like to just end by saying that, enough of talking. There are a lot of motivation now speaking that we can listen to online. But if we don't take action, everything that we have said today, it's just going to end here. So by all means, please take action and lead the kind of change that you want to see. Let the passion in your heart, be it strong for the cause that you have chosen, be it climate change, be it whatever it is, climate education or food insecurity. There's a lot of problems. So let your heart begin to beat with that passion. If you see that the fire is coming down, talk to friends and allies that can help you to, just keep that passion going. But let passion be on one hand, and make sure that on the other hand, you are also building your competence. You are building your capacity. You are building your competence to really drive this change. So passion will carry you as a fuel to some extent, but capacity is actually that thing that will keep you in the kind of rooms that you belong to. So that's my closing remark for today. Thank you so much, Stacy, for moderating, and a huge thanks to Dr. Kinshemolu, who is my wonderful mentor, for building this platform for young people like us to build the kind of change we want to see. Thank you, everybody. Nice meeting you.
Thank you so much for that. On behalf of everyone present and also on behalf of the Green Institute, we want to extend our heartfelt gratitude. Thank you for taking your time to share with us your expertise, and also for encouraging us to think more deeply about how we can all contribute to meaningful changes. And I'd like to also extend Dr. Adenike's greetings to you, and also to all the fellows. The slides will be shared to you via email, and the next mentorship session will be communicated to you. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a good evening, afternoon, and morning.